Good morning. It's Charlie Wall here from iamcharliewall.com. Lovely to see you all this morning. I am coming at you today from Wales next to the sea, and I am going to be talking about what obstacles come up for people when they're thinking about changing behavior. Oops, I'm going to try and share this in my group, sorry. When they're trying to think about changing behavior. So just bear with me a second while I change. Oh, hi, Steph. Oh, I love that you're already on. Thank you for coming in. And Lucy, I can see Lucy, but I'm not sure if Lucy's at work or not. Right, so yeah, if you come in, please let me know. And I'm hoping that I've shared that to the group. I don't know if that's worked, but anyway, let's keep our fingers crossed. Hello, Lucy. It's lovely to see you here. And I've just added you to my group, She Connects. Hi, Lucy. I think like technology not being like technically minded, I've added a poll on here, which I've also put into my group because, hi Kat, if you're in, say hello. It's lovely to see you guys. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited that you joined me. I'm honoured that you would join me. So for those of you who may have seen my posts, who are in the group, I have created an 11-module course called Fly, First Love Yourself. And it's about looking at behaviors that we find difficult. And the behaviors that I hear the most from my women, from my tribe, are emotional eating, comfort eating, drinking alcohol, self-loathing, self-beration. Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Alex. I'm going to hope that I see these comments as they come in. So tell me, ladies, if there's anything else that you feel that you have a habit, if you don't mind posting on this thread. And I think I might have added a poll to this live video, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to see if you comment on that. But anyway, so I have spoken to loads of women this week, absolutely loads of women, and I created the course following years of my own research. I used to be an addictions counsellor. Some of you will already know that. And I've been working with women specifically for the last 14 years and coached many of those women one-to-one, and in a group, I've done online group programs for years. And really tried to look at mindset around behaviours, addictions. And this week, given that I've spoken to loads of women who've shown an interest in the course, I have noticed that a lot of obstacles have come up with regards to changing behaviour. So I thought it might be interesting to do a live on that, given that I try and do a theme of the week that's come up in the Facebook group She Connects. And tell me, like, what do you consider obstacles for changing your behaviour? And I'll talk to you about obstacles that I myself have experienced. But the ones that have come up this week when I've spoken to women have been time, money, fear of change. I've got some notes here. What if Charlie can't help me? What if I open Pandora's box? Now, and I think the other one that came up was, what if it doesn't work for me? So I wanted to just try and like go through each of those points, because I think this is really interesting as coming to you as somebody who did self-development for many years. I was a coach, I was a counselor. I was really good at helping everyone else, but I looked probably the part when I was teaching the boot camps, but inside I was very unhappy, struggling with grief, struggling with anxiety, struggling with body image, body dysmorphia, numbing activities, which included drinking and either kind of binge eating or starving. Just, picking my face, which I know I've spoken about many times. Steph's put self-doubt, and Alex has put definitely a fear of change. So that's quite an interesting one. Like self-doubt, we can perhaps talk about a bit more, but the fear of change, I think, is really strong and actually probably ties into self-doubt and the fear of, like, what if this doesn't work for me? What if I invest my money and my time in this doesn't work for me? So I'll maybe, like, fear of change, I'll perhaps do first. Hi, Mandy. And fear of change. There's a great quote, if I can find it, and that really resonated with me, because I really wanted to change my behavior. I was absolutely sick and tired of my own bullshit. And there was a comfort zone in my behavior. Hi, Mandy. And I didn't realize, that I was comfortable in my uncomfortableness, in this pattern of behavior, in this self-berating. I was always probably addicted to drama, addicted to being self-critical, addicted to looking in the mirror and finding fault. And it was kind of part of my everyday pattern. And I would look to change it, and then I'd, maybe spend money on a course or a book or counselling, and then, be resistant. And I wouldn't perhaps actually really want to change because I was comfortable in that grim place. And the quote that really resonated with me and kind of spoke to me a couple of years ago was by Anais Nin, and she says, "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." And so it's interesting, like, when we look at the fear of change, what is it that we're scared of? What is it about changing? Why are we drawn to change those behaviors? But then when it actually comes to it, I've had countless women this week approach me about the fly course, and countless women say, no, it's not for me. And I think underlying all of that is actually a fear of change, and a fear of not being good enough, and a fear of not being deserving of a life that you should have and that you deserve to have. Because if I think about time as the other one, which I've heard, like, how much time and energy does it cost you not living the life that you want to live, not being the woman that you can be? And how much time do you spend hating on yourself, looking at magazines, looking at Instagram, looking at Facebook, comparing yourself negatively, looking at clothes that you might want to buy, that might make you feel better? How much time do you spend hating on yourself? And that's the thing I really want to get across. Like, the course that I'm preparing for is a module per week, but we will have a break over Christmas, and there is a break after 6 weeks. But it's a workbook for you to work through at your own pace. There'll be no pressure. I don't expect anything of you other than that you give yourself kindness, compassion, and self-love. Hi, Dawn. Kat's put, "I'm the complete opposite. I want to change all the time, constantly trying to change jobs, homes, what I do." And I think we touched on that yesterday with my grief article from Second Firsts. It's like when you've suffered huge grief, traumatic grief, looking for a place to call home and looking to change. And what we're doing there is innocently looking to the outside to change things which may give us satisfaction short term, but once we start to look inside and know that the change comes from in here, and that you're already perfect, and that you're already enough, and that it can't ever come from outside of us, that's where change starts to happen. So I got kind of distracted there because I wanted to acknowledge what Kat said. And I wasn't sure when you said I'm the complete opposite, I want to change all the time, what you're the complete opposite to, because some of these comments are delayed. So the time one is quite interesting, because I know I spent years and wasted years hating on myself. I spent years feeling unhappy. I spent years looking outside of myself. And I also spent a shitload of money thinking that this program would be the answer, this fitness thing would be the answer, this nutritional program would be the answer. And none of them were, because I was looking for a quick fix. So I spent money and time on those things, and then just went back to where I was, which was my sort of uncomfortable, comfortable place. And I know that I was the type of person that would, see an advert and go, yeah, that's for me. I'm going to spend however much money and I'll be cured. But because none of those nutritional programs and none of those exercise programs and nothing I ever bought ever touched the surface of the uniqueness of who you truly are inside. And it wasn't until I started that I accidentally fell upon the 3 principles. So you can Google the 3 principles if you like. And I'm very lucky that I came across Sid Banks, who brought the 3 principles into the world. And I have been now a qualified coach in that understanding, and I'm now mentoring for next year's coaches who are learning. But it wasn't until I really understood that on a deep level, that who I am is already enough, that I don't have to change anything, that there's nothing outside of me that can fix that actually I'm not broken. And that's what I've put into this course, Fly. That's why I've written it, because I spent so many years wasting my time, that I want to give you that if you can't work with me one-to-one, which I know not everybody can, then that's why I've created this group program. So hi Kaylee, lovely to see you here. So that was fear of change we've touched on, and time. So if you've just come in, we're talking about the obstacles that maybe stop people from making changes. I'm really keen to hear from you, like what do you think, in all honesty, stops you from making deep changes? I think, like going back to Kat's, I want to change all the time, trying to change jobs, homes. There are behaviours that keep us stuck, and usually I find that that's to do with drinking and eating, and we kind of get stuck in this cycle of eating things which we wouldn't necessarily want to eat, drinking alcohol of an evening, and not treating ourselves with compassion or kindness or forgiveness, and then we look to change the outside. So in my experience, for me, that was changing the way my body looked on the outside, because I didn't feel enough. I wasn't looking inside, and I absolutely advocate that you shouldn't have to shrink. You don't have to change your body to be enough, to feel enough, because you're already perfect, you're already unique. And when you start feeling that on a deeper level, when you start seeing something different and feeling that you have an inner guidance, a wisdom inside you that I can't give you, it's already there, it's already within you, once you start feeling that and seeing that, you will start to notice little changes, like not eating a packet of biscuits because you feel sad, or you feel lost, or you feel disconnect. And in my years of experience working with addicts and food addiction and various things, I always find, as well as like not feeling enough, it's a disconnect, feeling disconnected. So that's money, I think. No, I didn't say money, did I? Too much time. It's going to take too much time. Fear of change. Money. Money's such a big topic. I have done a lot of money mindset work myself over the last 2 years. It's been fascinating to me. Hi, Denise. Dawn has put, I have obsessive behavior, like bleaching every corner of my house or overeating. Yes, absolutely, it does apply to this conversation. Like the course I've written is about any habit, and I consider those things to be habits because it's all our thinking, and we're always experiencing our thinking in the moment. Obsessive compulsive disorder is a part of that. Now, I used to pick my face, absolutely, like maul it to shreds, and it would be an obsession. I'd obsessively look in the mirror. I'd find things that wouldn't necessarily be there, but I'd find it anyway, and I'd pick and pick and pick and pick, and I'd find myself kind of come out of this weird zone with blood on my face and think, what the fuck have I done? And it was an obsession. It was a complete obsession. I've also been completely obsessed with exercise, 4 hours a day. Different, I think it takes different forms, but I absolutely believe that that does apply to this conversation, Dawn. It's the same as like we're always kind of looking to things outside of us to fix, whether that be food, whether that be drink, whether that be cleaning, whether that be shopping, whether that be picking, whether that be looking at social media, whether that be shopping online. There's an innocence in that we're trying to make ourselves feel better because we're constantly looking to something outside of us. So going back to money, how much money do we spend on clothes that we don't need? How much money do we spend on programs that we don't complete because we're looking for a quick fix? How much money, I can't tell you how much money I've spent on things over the years that just haven't served me, and I've ignored, and I didn't consider it a waste of money because I kind of paid it. And then when it came to something really, really important that I knew would challenge me and make me look at change, it wasn't until that bud became too difficult to stay in that I invested in myself and my coaching practice and getting my own coach. I understand about money, having studied it for the last 2 years. I understand how much faith it takes in you and your coach to invest in yourself, to make the changes. And so I really get it. But I want you to know that, like, if you really look at money and what you spend it on and what is considered to be waste, this is offering you a lifetime change. This program that I've written, it's the first one of this kind, even though I've been running online courses for many years. But this first one is a beta test, taking everything I've learned over like 20 years and putting it into one place. And it's £300 as the cost. There is a payment plan, but I want those ladies who do this first course to have lifetime access, and it will absolutely work. And I'm hoping that those women will then mentor the next group and the next group. And so that's kind of my plan and where I'm going with it, because I absolutely believe in it and it's worked for me. So money, yeah, it's a good question. I think that probably deserves its whole thing on its own, because money mindset is very, very interesting. If you're keen to look at money mindset, the Jen Sincero book, You're a Badass at Making Money, bit of a crap title, but a great, great book. One of the other ones that I heard, what if Charli can't help me? And I think that's a really good question because, you know, that's why I like to talk to people one on one. And so you get a connection with me. But also, if you know a little bit about me and what I've been through, that I really know where you are. I know how painful it is to be stuck in a cycle, Groundhog Day, of hating on yourself, of drinking too much, of waking up in the morning and thinking I'll start again tomorrow, of eating crap, of punishing myself with exercise. I absolutely know what that's like, and I have been there, and I can sit here in my little kitchen in Wales next to the sea and say I absolutely know how you feel. And I have clients on here on this thread, and I have clients who can tell you that although change is challenging and it's hard and it can be confronting, there's something quite wonderful about having someone standing by your side as opposed to carrying you, and having someone who believes in you, and I absolutely do. So if you don't believe that I can help you, I'd really, really love to have a conversation with you one-to-one if you feel that would help, because I don't want to go into what I've been through on this video because it's huge, but I know I can pretty much relate to what most people have been through, especially with regards to eating and drinking, grief, loss, and obsessive behaviours, pretty much everything. And the final one I wanted to talk on, and I can't see if anyone's written on the polls, but what if I open Pandora's box? And someone said that to me, like it felt like she would be unraveling a thread and she wasn't sure whether she wanted to go there. And what I wanted to say about that is it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to feel fragile, it's okay to not be okay. And I don't think the problem there is that there's anything wrong with getting into Pandora's box. I think the issue is that you don't believe how beautiful you are on the inside. And that is what I want to help you get to. But like I said, you have all the wisdom inside of you yourself. You don't actually need me or anybody else or any books or any gurus. You've got it all within you, always. Let me just read what Steph has put. Have been there and have the t-shirt. Charli is the best. Can relate to pretty much anything you can throw at her. Thank you, Steph. Steph's one of my amazing clients, and Steph's going to do the group program as well, which is amazing. And Debbie, hello Debbie, it's a lovely little smiley face there. Yeah, Pandora's box, like what if it's okay, you know, everything is okay, you are all okay, you are all beautiful. And I think that's it, you know, I think we think that we're not going to be able to handle it. Hi Caroline. And actually that isn't the issue. I mean, that is the issue, you know, like we think we're not going to be able to handle it, and we can. And I think, you know, like just talking to you, one of the other things that's coming up for me as I'm talking is, as women, we are really good at looking after everyone else. We are absolutely fantastic carers, givers. But when it comes to investing in ourselves, in our time, in nurturing and nourishing ourselves, we're like last on the list. And why is that? Like, why is that? So maybe that's another fear, you know, like obstacle to change, that you don't value yourself enough to make those changes. Or maybe you like being in that cycle, because I think that can be an addiction of unhappiness. And just living that sort of Groundhog Day because it's comfortable, because it's familiar. And that's quite challenging. That can be quite challenging to hear or even acknowledge. Donna says, thank you for sharing with us, Charli, your guidance. You're welcome. Caroline says, I've missed the beginning. That's okay. And Steph just said, I've signed up to fly. Come join us. We can open Pandora's box together. I have got 5 places left only on the course. So if you're interested, please message me. I'd love to talk to you. I've absolutely loved this call today. I think it's a really interesting subject about change. But I have like nearly 600 women in my group, all of whom have come in because they want to change something, but there's something stopping them. And I think it's really important for us to look at that and really have a think about, like, what is it that you want? What are you drawn to? And what's stopping you from making those changes? Because I don't believe that money is, I think we can, you know, we buy things that we value, but we maybe don't value ourselves enough to spend money on ourselves. So that's just my opinion, having been that woman who last year, the year before, decided, no, fuck it, I am worth it, and I am going to invest in myself, and I am going to make the changes, and it's changed my life. So yeah. Right. Have an amazing day, guys. I love you very much. I think you're all amazing. You're all enough. You can do this. Any questions, please comment or message me, or come into my group. If you're not in my group, I'll put the link below. And I'll see you next Friday, if not before, in the group. Have a great day. Bye.